What's up guys, Brian here down in the Gecko lab bringing you another video. This time I'm going to tell you guys a couple stories. I'll start off with my nose. As you guys can probably see, I got a big old scrape on my nose. I got that. No exciting story here. I scraped it on the bottom of a swimming pool in Mexico. But that's where the good stories start. I just got back from a week-long trip in Mexico and I saw some really cool things, and of course I came back to a whole slew of gecko hatchlings. So I'm going to tell you a couple of stories and then we're going to look at some of the best geckos that hatched the week while I was gone. So as any of you that follow me on Instagram or Facebook will already know, I just got back from a week-long trip to Cancun with my wife. Now guys, we had so much fun. We did all kinds of adventures. We went parasailing, we went to this adventure park that had zip lines and ATVs and this big bungee jump swing thing and a giant swimming hole you could zip line or dive into. It was such a great time, but absolutely one of the highlights for me was the animals. Now, a couple quick stories. We saw some really cool iguanas that were really nice. We actually did see a crocodile, an American crocodile. I didn't get a picture of him, unfortunately, but it was really cool. So I'm going to tell you the story really quick. We were walking along the main street on the hotel strip in Cancun, and on one side is the lagoon, and there's crocodiles in the lagoon. So I was looking at every break in the trees and the mangroves to see if there was any crocodiles in the water. And I knew that it was pretty unlikely we were going to see one, but we kept an eye out, and then we did see one. We came across a spot where there's a culvert that went under the road, and then it emptied out into the lagoon, and there was a crocodile right there in the lagoon. And as we came up on him, he swam away. It was really cool to see him. But then I looked down in the culvert, you guys, and there was a giant severed animal leg in the culvert. So this crocodile, this was like his home base he had set up. He'd obviously captured an animal, and crocodiles will sometimes, when they get a food item that's too big for them to eat all at once, they'll bring it back somewhere safe and then feed off it for a couple days. So this guy still had a leg left of whatever animal it was. I couldn't tell that he had captured. So it was cool to see his nasty couple day old leg that he had been chewing on sitting there, and that's why the crocodile was there. I went back a couple more times trying to get pictures of him, but he didn't reappear, though he did eat his leg. That was gone next time I went back, but that was really cool. However, undoubtedly the highlight of the trip for me was the sea turtles. Guys, we got to see so many, not only adult sea turtles laying their eggs on the beach, but baby sea turtles. And it was especially special for me because normally the hotels in Cancun and the government there, they protect their sea turtles really well in this part of Mexico. So a lot of times what they'll do is they've got a whole, we call them the turtle brigade. It was like a patrol that would go along the beach, and when they found females laying their eggs, they would dig the eggs up and rebury them in artificial nests in a protected part of the beach with like a cage around it. And then a lot of times the hotels would offer tours where you could go out when one of the nests hatches and help release the babies. Well, they weren't doing that because of the current pandemic. They weren't doing those tours. They were trying to keep mass gatherings to a minimum. So it was really cool for us to even see turtles, because I didn't think we'd be able to see any babies. But this was the coolest thing. There's one night, me and my wife were having like a private dinner on a cabana, a romantic dinner on the beach. It was really sweet. The guys there did a great job setting up this great romantic dinner for us. And halfway through our meal, we're sitting there and this baby sea turtle comes walking right along the beach, right in front of our cabana, not 6 feet away. It was incredible to have this little turtle come walking right by. It was so magical. So we talked to the guys at the hotel and they said, yes, you can pick him up and take him down to the water, which we did. We got to hang out with him for just a minute. We took him down to the water, let him go in the ocean. And then after we were done with our meal, we followed his tracks. You could see his little turtle tracks. So we followed them back along the beach. He had actually come about 300 yards down the beach, and we followed him all the way back to his nest. And at his nest, there was a couple more turtles still coming up out of the nest. Now this was a nest that the Turtle Brigade had missed. So they had incubated naturally just on the beach. The public beach, there's people walking over the top of it and running jet skis and stuff right up onto the shore next to it. But this nest made it undamaged and they hatched naturally. It was such an incredible experience to see. And with the guidance of some of the local officers that are there to protect the turtles, we actually got to help release more baby turtles back into the water. It was a fantastic experience. I can't explain it to you. I was really really hoping we would see some sea turtles. I did not expect to get to see as many as we did. We probably saw 20 or 30 babies, got to let a dozen of them or so go into the ocean, and we saw probably about a dozen adult females on the beach laying their eggs, digging their nests. We didn't get too close to any of them, and I couldn't really get any pictures because it was so dark out, but it was such a great experience to see. An absolute bucket list item for me. It was definitely on my bucket list. In fact, in 2 weeks, I'm set to fly to Costa Rica, where I'm going to one of the heaviest populations of turtles, one of their heaviest, the beach where the most turtles come to nest in the world, in northern Costa Rica. So I thought that was going to be my good turtle trip. Lo and behold, I go on a romantic vacation with my wife in Cancun, and we saw turtles galore. It was fantastic. But of course, all good trips must come to an end. And when our trip did come to an end, I came home to a whole slew of gecko hatchlings. So let's dive into that. I want to show you guys some of the better stuff that hatched in the week that I was gone. So obviously I don't have time to show you guys every gecko that hatched while I was gone, but I did pick out 11 of them to share with you today, which admittedly is probably also too many. So we're going to try and get through them quickly. But real quick before we do, if you guys like hearing stories like I just told you about traveling and seeing some of my photos, I'm an avid traveler. I love it more than anything in the world. I've been to quite a few places and I love photography. So keep an eye out. I'm going to start making a series of videos about places that I've traveled and photos that I've taken, just little stories, shorter videos, little tidbits about my travels and photos to go along with them. I don't know if you guys are going to like it, but I have a passion for it, so I'm going to make the videos regardless. Keep an eye out for those if you're interested. Now, let's get into the geckos. The first one up today is this axanthic that hatched out. Now, this guy is admittedly not one of the flashier axanthics that we've hatched, but every time one of these hatches, I just absolutely love it. I can't get enough of them. This little one was certainly thrilling to find when I got home. Next up, this really, really nice pinstripe. Big head on this guy. This is a Blizzard line pinstripe. Blizzard was the founder of my white spot drippy dorsal line. I've expanded that line quite a bit, so this guy's an original Blizzard offspring. I'm really excited to see how he develops, if he gets any of those drippy dorsal white spot markings as he grows. Next up, I got a pair of Super Dalmatians. Now, these are from one of my brand new ink spot projects. This is actually out of the breeding group that I featured about a month and a half-ish ago, 2 months ago, whenever that video was, of the ink spot group where I asked you guys to name the male. Ended up being named Splat because he jumped off my hand onto the floor and made a splat sound. That's the name I picked for that guy. So these are two kids from that group. As you can see, ink spots, they're not super flashy when they hatch. These guys are actually really, really, really nice example of ink spot hatchlings. Most don't even have this many spots. Most don't have half this many spots. So for those of you that have experience with Super Dals, you'll know how nice these babies are. For the rest of you saying those are kind of plain, just wait. These are among the most fun geckos to grow out and watch develop. These are going to be absolute beauties when they grow up. Let's move right along. One picture of this one, just the head structure on this thing is outrageous. A red phantom. It just has those real thick pinstripes down the back. Really unique looking phantom. Not the fanciest gecko, but this one really caught my eye. I really like it. This one should be a nice bright neon red when it grows up. This one is going to be a beauty as well. Next up, we have a lily white. Now, this is just a lily white. No other genes crossed into here, but those thick white laterals on this, I absolutely love this guy. This one is a lily white crossed with an Adam line female from Cotswold Geckos over in the UK. I've talked about them before. Great guy, great geckos, and Adam is one of my favorite geckos. So these are Adam daughters bred to my lily white male, produced this lily white. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, great structure. Next up is a pair of harlequins from my Extreme Harlequin Tricolor project. This first baby, you can see, check out those laterals, those white and orange sides. That is incredible markings for a 4-day-old gecko. That one is going to be hands down an absolute killer when it grows up. This second one, not quite as nice, but still a ton of pattern and an absolutely beautiful gecko. This second one is a top-notch gecko. That first one is a once in a thousand hatchlings kind of gecko. So that one was incredibly exciting to see when I got home. Next up is another lily white. Not quite as much of the white markings on the sides of this one as the first lily white. Those really cool kind of flame looking lily white markings coming up. Great structure, and the kicker with this kid, that one is a het axanthic. So that's another level of awesome on top of the lily white gene. I love that one. 2 more to go now. This next one is a hatchling from a lily white het axanthic bred to a visual axanthic. Now, when this one first came out, this one was actually in the process of hatching when I got home. Only its head was out of the egg, and when I saw its head, I thought for sure, yes, that is an axanthic lily white. Look at those cream markings on it. Bingo, jackpot, love it, hit the odds. And then it came all the way out of the egg, and I thought, I'm not real sure if this one is a lily white or not. And the more I look at it, I don't think it is. I think this is just a heavily patterned axanthic, which is incredibly rare, and a really nice axanthic pinstripe, which is also incredibly rare. So I'm very excited for it, though I do not think this one is a lily white. This last gecko, however, absolutely a lily white. This one is the double visual, another axanthic lily white. I hit the odds one more time. Again, so incredibly lucky. These are so hard to hatch. Just very few of these in the world, and they're absolutely mind-boggling every time I see one, when I'm feeding and I see one of the older ones, or of course when I find one in the incubator. It is just like a just an incredible day. I can't describe the feeling what it's like to find one of these in the incubator. It's absolutely amazing, and I could not be happier than I was when I found that when I came back. I had a feeling that I was going to find one because I was talking to the girl that helps me feed the geckos, and she was caring for everything while I was gone, and she texted me and told me, you're going to be real happy with some of these babies when you come back. And she's absolutely right. Just an incredible kid. So there's a rundown of a few of the hatchlings that came out on the week while I was gone in Mexico, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at /AEGeckos. I always put hatchling pictures up, new gecko pictures up every day. Travel stories, travel photos, geckos for sale, everything goes up on there. I love posting it. I love interacting with you guys. I love reading your comments. So follow us there. Thank you very much. I am Brian, altitudeexotics.com. As always, have a great day. We'll see you guys soon.